Good evening. We'll call the meeting to order for the Stormwater Board for October 5th. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll do roll call, Madam Secretary.
Ryan Lusek is absent. Patrick Conlon.
Yes.
Benji Kinchelo.
Yes.
Don Oliphant.
Here.
David Austin is absent. Chris Salatas is absent. Eric Bosma.
Yes.
Robert Carnahan.
Here.
And myself, Wendy Schmidt, is here.
Okay. Did everybody have time to read the minutes from the September 7th meeting? Are there any corrections to the minutes?
No, sir.
Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes from September 7th.
Motion to approve the minutes from September 7th.
Okay, second. We'll do a vote.
Benji Kinchelo.
Yes.
Patrick Conlon.
Yep. Okay. We'll get started with update items. The first one is Eric Hines, 7513 West 136th Avenue.
No huge updates. This is the former Becker parcel. It's my understanding the easements are done. I just don't know the status of any signatures.
Okay.
That is not one of the approved projects, so it's just kind of a placeholder.
Right. Okay.
Another easement from his eastern property owner, eastern neighbor.
Need one more, you said?
Yeah, we would need one more.
Okay. Okay, moving along, Schubert/Dodge Street, we talked about that at length last month.
No updates to that one. That one's going to be a bigger project. And that one's, we don't have the funding for it now. We can proceed with preliminary stuff to try to find a route. That's really up to you guys. I think ideally that would need a separate outfall into the lake, most likely down near Potawatomi would be the goal.
Yeah.
We might have a decent grade to bust to get across Lake Shore Drive to get to Potawatomi, but I think that's the best idea to take that pressure off the Meyer Manor system.
Okay. I think we mentioned that was that could be an extensive project, isn't it?
It could.
Up to $500,000 or something, is that?
Quarter to a half probably,
Yeah.
how much piping we would need, and then probably some road infrastructure to kind of complement it.
I guess since it's such a large project, is that something that should not be in the realm of this board or this commission? I mean, I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah.
How big of an infrastructure project?
I mean, ideally we would tie it to kind of Meyer Manor and Meyer Manor Terrace projects, winter if they go, because they are part of that subdivision master plan, but there's now 9.5 in that plan.
Right.
The total cost of that plan is 21, and it's probably gone up by now is 40 million at least.
Wow.
I mean, they're not small. No. We're doing 2 million of that right now in shades.
Okay. Well, we'll just keep it on updates and keep walking through it. I guess the other thing too is we'll see what the winter does too. I mean, I guess I'm concerned just because it gets, when there's water, standing water, and then it freezes this winter.
Yeah, we have a small icing problem next to the Eagles, right there next to the new dentist office, just because those inlets right there are not where they need to be. They're at high points. Now we have, I think, some discharge from the dental office, which complicates stuff. Hopefully that isn't a huge issue during the winter. But yeah, we have several points in town where we have poor drainage that cause icing issues during the winter. So we took care of one in Vermillion last year. I don't think that's a problem anymore. But yeah, unfortunately they tie to larger projects to stop it.
Okay. Third project on the list, the Woods of Cedar Creek. I think we're still working on getting easements, I believe, as of last month.
Yeah, again, this is in legal's court. I spoke to Dave this afternoon about 3 hours ago. said he wasn't gonna be able to make the meeting tonight. He advised we have a conference call next week. I don't know what he needs from me, to be quite honest with you.
Regarding this project?
Regarding this one and two more under Public Works. These easements have been old. They just need to be looked at by legal to make sure they're still viable. If they're not, they need to be updated. They do need to be updated for 4 properties because the properties have changed, the owners have changed since 2 years ago. But beyond that, David does not work for me, so.
No, I know. It'd just be nice to try to get that wrapped up.
It would be.
So that, you know, in the spring or whenever we can move that project forward, we're ready to go.
Preaching to the choir.
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. You'll follow up with us then, I guess, or David maybe will be here next month.
What he told me today is he said he wants to have a teleconference next week.
Okay.
To try to clarify some stuff, whatever that may be. I'm always available.
Yep, okay. All right. Just taking some quick notes here. Last one on update items is Marlene, is it Lee's? 6902 West 128th Place.
So we did this review, like I said, at the last meeting. We sent I don't even know if we had really comments about the drainage plan that Ms. Lee submitted. We submitted it to the building department. I don't know where they've taken it from there. Ms. Lees, do you have any further info?
Yeah, I have to get up and state my name, right?
If you please.
I'll be right there.
I feel like you're comfortable with us now.
Pardon?
I said I feel like you're comfortable with us now.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
getting
You're getting back?
smarter.
Okay.
I'm getting more comfortable. Thank you. I'm Marlene Lee, 6902 West 128th Place. They approved the
They approved
permit.
it? Okay.
I picked it up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Everything. And I am going to be scheduled by my contractor at the end of October or beginning hopefully in November.
Okay.
And that's all I can tell you right now. So I'm not supposed to call 811 until he informs me.
Yeah, because they can get, a couple days before.
Thank you.
So I'm
Okay.
glad that's going this year.
Yes. Okay, great. Okay, we'll move down to Public Works projects. Julianne Gibbons, 6425 West 145th Street.
So we do have an update on this, I guess, from what we can do from staff level. I talked to Tim Kubiak, I think had the last week. He is starting to order all the materials to try to be ready for when those easements get finalized and signed. We're starting to push our luck, to be honest with you, for the rest of the year. This does require some pavement patching. It's not big, but obviously plants start closing middle of November, depending on the weather, definitely at Thanksgiving. So I don't think it's a lot of work. I mean, we've got, I think, 140 feet of pipe-ish for the kind of the L section coming off her south house line to the west, and then we have a culvert replacement on her north leg.
How many, is that 3 easements for that job, or
Just one. It's actually just her south property owner.
Okay. Malachar?
Malachar.
Yep.
So it's just that one. It'll be kind of along Miss Gibbons' south line and the end of the Malachars. I think it's 10 or 12 feet. We'll take that from our drainage structure all the way to the west through the roadway there, and then parallel the west side of the road up to the ditch line. So it's really just, it's pipe, a 2x2 manhole, probably a 36-inch round structure, 48-inch on the west side of the road, flared end section, and then a cross culvert up on 145th. That's really all it is. But we really can't move a bulk of the project. I mean, the project's dependent on the easement, because that's the upstream side of the line, and we need it before it can move, and I don't have it yet.
No, we do not.
So,
It'd be
I mean,
nice, because I'd like to get this done this year.
Yeah, I mean, we passed along our easement, so we put together the legal description and the exhibit. The legal department puts together the actual easement legal document itself, so we provided that to the town in June.
Okay.
Beyond that, I can't tell you what's going on with it.
So you're waiting on Dave?
Yes.
Okay. We'll just,
Yeah.
okay. The other Public Works projects, item B, Justin Latz, 7320 West 140th.
Kind of the same thing on that one. That's even less, I think, work and less material ordering. I think you guys already have the 24-inch ready, or do you? I know we saw cut it. I don't know if
We
we had.
saw cut it, and Kubiak never got us the pipe or anything.
Okay, well, I told him to order that one and the one up at 140th Avenue. So I told him to just put that on the same order, because that doesn't require any structures.
No.
That's literally just two, a piece of 24 inch, probably 20 feet long, and then another piece of 12 or 15 that's shorter than that, maybe 15 feet. And then bulk of that's going to be tree removal,
Yeah, that's gonna be.
and then just shaping of that ditch line on the north side. That's going to be two easements. I have no doubt that Mr. Latz would sign it. We need to get his western neighbor to sign as well, because that tree line's right on the property line.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I can't move, and, I mean, we can rip out the pipe.
Yeah, we were planning on, if we had the pipe, we'd be able to rip it out, but.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense to do that until we can reshape
Yeah.
his ditch, because it doesn't have the capacity to handle a full flow, because the 24 inch right now is probably half operational right now, it's not in great shape.
Yeah.
I would rather do it all at once. I don't want to be pushing water onto his property harder than it already is, and
Plus
not have the
it'd have to
ditch
get
line
patched, too.
adequate. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's gonna need a patch too.
Yeah.
The other one will, the driveway replacement on the north side will not.
No, that we.
That's
can
under
put
stone, I
behind.
think,
Yeah.
so we'll just relay that.
So you're waiting on date for easements?
Yes, sir. Have been for a while.
I know he's not here, but he used to have a PE that worked for him, Bob.
He's long gone.
Rex Sherrard?
Yeah, he's been retired for 4 or 5 years now.
Okay. So does he have anybody like that in his office? 'Cause I think.
He doesn't need that for this. This is a strictly a legal document.
Yeah, okay.
We provided all the engineering stuff that needs to go.
You remember Rex?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a lot of work for David. It was.
He worked with SEH on the beginning of
133rd,
133rd,
that's right.
widening
Yep.
from Parish to, the Casey.
Yeah, but you're right. I
We
think-
had all kinds of prints back here on the wall.
Yep. Okay, last item on Public Works, is Brink, 14335 Truman Street. We moved that from update items to Public Works this month. Do we know what's going on with that?
It's on the street department list.
Okay,
I'm leaving that up to Mr. Kubiak.
I think we're just gonna clear it when we do.
Yeah, so,
okay.
I mean, we haven't heard from him
owner.
in a while,
Yeah.
so
Has he come before BZA? I know he was on that agenda for a while. I don't know where that ever went though.
I don't know either.
Cause he needed a variance to extend his
Yeah.
garage. I'm not sure if he received it or pulled it or what happened with that.
Ashley's never given me an update on it, so I don't know.
He may have walked away, I'm not sure. I know he was threatening to go to Costa Rica or something.
Yeah, he was gonna abandon the house and go somewhere else, so.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, whatever.
Okay. All right, any new business?
Shades project kicked off a week and a half ago. The 4x2 box culvert just got installed yesterday. So that was convenient considering how much rain we had today. So that's in. We should be on schedule to finish Wheeler, Berkeley, and 141st this year. Because Meade and their gas relocation got out on time on Berkeley.
Yeah.
I think they're out, and now Zeus is doing the underground. And then if we keep moving at this pace and hopefully avoid some more rain days, we should be on schedule to finish it. It's gonna be a pretty heavy lift, but we can do it, I think.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of pipe work, it's rather shallow, it's 12-inch pipe from now on out, so, yeah. We'll see if we get the weather, it's the goal.
Good deal.
But yeah, 141st is closed, if you haven't noticed. It's a hard closure right now because of the box culvert. It'll be a hard closure for a couple more weeks until they can build that up, because we're building that road up almost 2 feet.
Yeah, I need to.
Yeah. So, if everybody doesn't see the detour routes, they're up.
Yeah.
I wanted to, this is kind of under new business, but we don't have to have it for future agendas. I just was curious. There was some discussion about the culvert
from the wetlands to the lake that got cleaned out? Were you talking about it? Someone was talking.
Oh, Pickerel?
Yeah.
Yeah, 147th.
Yeah, that seems to be, is it going okay? Okay, I was just curious.
And it's functioning, it needs to be repaired, be replaced at some
Yeah.
point in the near future.
Yeah. Have they released any water back into the lake from the
Yes.
settling basin?
We've released probably upwards of 75 million gallons.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's been releasing back to the lake probably since early August. There's been times where we've stopped to meet our water quality effluent requirements. We're shutting down more often now, just because the more you get into there, it's just harder to control.
Right.
So,
Now, we shut it down due to the fact that, we were pumping mud back into the lake.
not pumping it, it's just as we move the dredge around, we start hitting different material.
Yeah.
They hit one specific area in what we call Area 1, which is the northeast quadrant, that was very clay, which is very light. The sediment you get out of a clay, it floats really easily, it's very fine.
Are we putting Palmer in, the new water?
Not yet. We have a permit request into IDEM for what they call a water additive treatment permit, which will be a flocculant or a coagulative or, many different terms to it, which they'll inject directly into the pipeline. And that will settle it out.
I've got a guy criticizing me out on the street that is nothing but a jelly, and it's not a good thing to use, so.
It has to, the specific flocculant that we use has to be approved by IDEM. So they have to send them all of what it's made of, what the toxicity is, what the dosing of it is. Because you're right, flocculants, if you use them incorrectly, especially in high doses, they can be toxic. And they can do exactly opposite of what you wanted to do. But they're necessary in some of these scenarios because our TSS requirement's actually quite low. It's a 30 parts per million or milligrams per liter monthly average and a daily peak of 60, which is actually quite clean. In managing that, we've taken background samples of the lake and we're in the hundreds. So that tells you what we have to get it down to. It's not an easy task, but we're trying not to use flocculants until next year. Once we start filling this basin up more and more and more, essentially where you're short-circuiting the detention time, if you're going to call it, it's a foregone conclusion to meet those. You have to do that.
And I understand that this is to get the stuff to compact in the dewatering facility?
Yeah, so the way a flocculant works, or a coagulant, essentially there's a negative charge to them. Sediments have kind of a positive charge or vice versa, I can't remember. And they'll actually attach to each other and they'll basically increase they'll increase the weight of it and they'll settle out easier. Otherwise, we're pumping in about anywhere from 3,800 GPM to 6,000 GPM, which is quite a bit. And when that releases over our weirs, that creates quite a bit of kind of turbulent or currents that resuspends that very easily. Yeah. So we actually have two what we call turbidity curtains in the SDF right now that try to kind of hold it back. But the coagulants, those are going to be what we're going to need eventually. We're trying not to use them this year. They're not cheap. Yeah. But we've actually we've stopped releasing at night to let it settle out overnight. Then we start releasing again when they pump. And then we're doing kind of bi-daily testing. We only have to do weekly testing, technically by the permit, but there's obviously a big difference in our TSS release when we start opening up our weir. So we're tracking it. I think our monthly average last month was 25. We can go up to 30.
And then another thing was asked to me, that with putting this stuff in, it will take 2 to 3 to 4 years for that sediment to decompose to where we can get rid of it out of there? Is that true?
Not decompose. We're continually going to have to dewater this facility over time. So the facility has, I just sent it to Chris, the capacity. It's like 575,000 cubic yard capacity, kind of in our 8-foot of bounds. We can get a little bit more with what we call dead storage below our release, and then we have a 2-foot freeboard. I think our max is like 675,000 cubic yards. We're pumping, for this project, about 440,000 cubic yards. that's the big unknown, is how long is this gonna take to settle out? I think it's gonna be several years after we're done with the project to get it to fully, because over time, we're gonna keep pulling what we call our weir boards, and then we'll keep releasing, keep testing, keep releasing, getting all the water out. Eventually, it'll just be kind of hard, compacted silt, and then once it's relatively dry, we can spread it. So, but that's gonna be a while.
Well, some of the reasoning I'm getting these questions is because what the town council has indicated they want to turn it into a sports park.
The park, yeah?
And if all of this is going to take longer to decompose and get rid of, it's going to be longer before we can get in there and create a park there for the community.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to do the math too about how much ultimately sediment we get in there. It very well is gonna be more than what we're paying for, because there's an over dredge amount that they don't get paid for, but it's inevitable. Dredging is not the exact science that everybody wants it to be, but, yeah, I mean, say if we get 500,000 cubic yards in there, the time to dewater it all, and then, yeah, to spread it could take a while. I mean, we have large portions of those parcels that we can use now, probably, but there's gonna have to be some type of mass balance, because well, if the berm lines are quite a bit amount of fill, that's good fill, that's structural clay. But that's a lot that needs to be spread, and then you'll have all your sediment as well, which is not structural, which cannot be used for anything but spread.
And it's my understanding they were dredging clay out of the basin that they shouldn't have been dredging.
No. I mean, another unknown is about all the different soil strategies out there. They're variable, and depending on where you're starting to dredge, you're going to hit different material. We took probably 8 to 10 soil samples throughout the entire lake in almost every area, but Area 1 specifically is huge. It's over half of the project.
Explain the area for the people.
Yeah, so Area 1 is the northeast quadrant, kind of between the Chamber of Commerce, down along that coast, Bartlett-Wahlberg, to the condos, and kind of down in that area. That's 280,000 cubic yards. So it's about 60 to 65% of the overall project. I think we had 2 borings in that area. And the reason you do the borings is try to get an idea about what you're dealing with, which is trying to estimate your settling time. But to be honest with you, there's tons of different patches of areas around here that you don't know until you hit them. They can tell when they start dredging them what they're getting into. The clay specifically is really clumpy and sticky, and it actually jacks their pressures up in their pipeline, so they kind of know what they're getting. They'll know when they hit sand because the pressure's dropped, and you can actually hear it ping off the pipeline. If you walk next to it, you can actually hear stuff kind of, all the water. I mean, we're only pumping 10 to 15% solids at this point. That's all we're ever really going to do. So when they hit that thicker stuff, it puts a hell of a lot more pressure on their pumps. They've blown 2 turbos out of their pumps, and they were pretty new, is what I understood.
Yeah, they moved that.
Yeah, they had a lot of breakdowns early on. They've got them pretty good now. Like, they were having trouble with some of this stuff clogging their filters, and yeah, so I mean, eventually we're gonna have to go back to that clay. That clay started really torpedoing our TSS, and we shut them down for almost 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Just to wait for them to settle out, and they ended up moving out of that to more sediment, silty areas, which are a little easier to control.
Where will the dredging equipment be stored during the winter?
The dredge will be pulled. They're going to take that down to another job, I think, in Kentucky or Tennessee to work over the winter. We're hearing right now it'll be pulled around November 1st. Not an exact date yet, but that's kind of what they're anticipating. The pipes will be sunk throughout. I believe the buoys will still stay. They're going to pull the crossing buoys just because they don't deal well with icing. Apparently, they have a tendency to crack. So those will be pulled. The booster pump barge that's in there now, that will stay. The other booster will stay as well. So yeah, everything will remain except the dredge.
Okay.
That'll be pulled. And come back in the spring, whenever we get the weather, and, you know, they don't have a set date to come out of the shutdown, but most likely March, April, is a guess.
And do they, yeah, and I don't mean to keep going on about this, because it's off topic, but are they Are they holding regular meetings, or is there gonna be public meetings to give like status updates?
We have a scheduled status meeting. It was every week, now it's every 2.
But
and
it's
then
not
we have
open,
them
it's not really
as-
open to the public per se, correct?
No, they're just with our staff and some of Dredge America staff to kind of go over, stuff that we're doing for testing and the additive treatment stuff, how their daily operations are going. We have access to their daily operation log for every day. Tell them what they did, what the SDF's at, if they had breakdowns, if they had pipe breakages, which we haven't had in a very long
Do
time.
you think they'll do a public meeting in the spring when they start back up? Like they did to kick us off?
Probably. So we've been trying to interact with the public as much. We had a public meeting before we started. Pretty good turnout for it. We've tried to release all our documentation to all, we have a safety plan on display here at the chamber, at North Point, and at Pinecrest. It's actually changed 2 or 3 times with DNR. Kind of going through a special rule, which apparently expires in October. They're probably going to reinstate that for next year so they can actually ticket people breaking the safety plan rules. Another thing for the winter shutdown is hunting. I think the radius was 500 feet away from any kind of dredge equipment. But with the dredge being pulled out, it's not nearly as big of a deal. I don't know when they're gonna start. I don't know if they've started putting out blinds yet or not.
I don't know if they
I don't think so.
I was out
Yeah.
this weekend and I didn't see them
Okay.
out there yet. I mean, they're off to the side, but not in the middle of the lake yet, so.
Yeah, we had, that was what Dredge America proposed, just for the safety of their crew. We passed it on a DNR and they didn't have a problem with it, but I don't think they're gonna enforce it either.
Yeah.
Because they can't, yeah.
Just for the audience, I get tons and tons of complaints of new residents that move in here. Why do we permit them to hunt on the lake? And I have to tell them, we don't control the lake, the state does.
No, I don't know if they have to get permits, or I'm not sure how the blind placements work. I really don't know much about it. I can ask Terry about it if you want me to. She's been our contact. She's been great.
One other question, I was getting weekly or bi-weekly, minutes or notes from what was happening and with some pictures. I haven't got them in a long time.
Okay, we can send you pictures. We
Okay.
got some drone videos from the police department, which are really great. Kind of show everything in real time.
That was neat, I saw that.
Yeah, they've helped us a lot with kind of flying drones out into that southern marsh area to kind of, we're trying to pick apart beaver dams as we see them.
Yeah, Margaret Abernathy was printing those for me, and I created a binder, and I haven't had a report in there in a long while.
I try to put a good report on the monthly council report, but, because honestly, day to day, not a lot happens. I think, I can't remember what our last volume total was, maybe 180, and we might be in 200s right now.
There's a lot.
I don't remember off the top of my head. We just submitted a pay app yesterday too, so I should know that, but I can't remember it right now. But the goal is to get Area 1 done this year. With some of these shutdowns, we're starting to push our luck. We were ahead of schedule, now we're probably a little behind schedule, but Dredge America expected this to be a 3-year project. They expected it to start slowing down.
Yeah.
Once we start doing some of these smaller areas, dredging's gonna be a lot slower. They have to bring in a special dredge for both of the arenas, just because they're so small and tight. So I don't know if they're gonna bring that dredge next year or in 25. So.
Okay. Thanks for the update, Don, that was good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other new business? Okay, we'll move along to public comment. Any public comment tonight? No? Okay,
Nobody online.
no one online. All right. We will adjourn the meeting for tonight. Thank you, everybody.
Go Bears.
Good evening.